I'm going to show you something that old guys would cringe. Hi, I'm Miltonchang of Bonsai Heirloom. The overwhelming well, there's quite a bit of feedback that I should do smaller trees because that's really likely to be more popular, more relevant to my audience. So I will do that today to show 3 moderate-sized tree. This is a cutting of a Catlin elm I did maybe 2 years ago, and it's grown to the size. So I'll turn this tree into a bonsai and then show you as they grew, and after you grow it year in, year out, after several years, it looks something like this. And then what would you do to kind of fine tune it? And then this is an older tree. I really like this one. This one is, that's also Catlin, but this one is actually a Korean hornbeam. You can see the leaves are could be quite red actually, if the weather conditions right. But in this case, it's a reddish mottled, which I think is quite pretty. But if you look at it, the rootage and the color of the bark and the ramifications increasing over time. All you have to do to spend a little minimal time clipping it, you will have a very nice tree. And one of the questions is that how frequently should you clip it to increase the ramification? That means the branching. Some of the books say basically once a year in the fall when the winter, when there's no leaves on it, you can see where you're going. Maybe it's California weather. I tend to think do it more frequently. If you clip it 2 or 3 times a year, you increase the ramification that much faster. Today I'm going to get this bonsai started. And the only tool I need is really my, handy dandy clipper. But I would not disturb the soil very much because I wanted to put it back in the pot to let it grow to thicken. But let me take it out so I can work on the rootage first. You can see even though it's a small tree, it grew quite a bit of roots. But I'm a little bit particular about roots, so I will try to empty out the top to see the roots a little bit better. In fact, I should put the soil on top, back in the bottom, so that, so here's a little one that pop up, and I will save it. So I put the rest of the soil underneath so I can prop up the tree, expose the roots a bit as much as possible. I imagine, I'm not sure, the roots tend to thicken a little bit thicker when it's exposed on the top. I'm not too sure about that, but that seems to be my observation. And also, soil tend to have weeds, and you should get rid of weeds with the roots if you can. They are living soil, so you can expect weeds to pop out. So this one, you can see the roots is not very good. There's roots on one side, but no roots on that side. So I'll probably put a little bit of root tone to make it grow afterwards. So then I just have to decide what to do with this tree. And like this tree is really no taller than this. So I think that's a pretty good size. So I don't think I want to cut it too low. I will cut it here, let's say. That's the outline I want it to become. So I just cut it here. And more or less roundish like a hat. And I can do either cut it here, so it will shoot out here to be about same uniform. Or I can just say, well, why couldn't the tree grow out a little bit more this way, be a little taller, and the rest of it is shorter. So just to be a little different, to be eye-catching, that's fine. You know, you do want to do that. And the same consideration with this, I would say maybe about this height, but instead of cutting here, I cut it here, so in case so I can give me more design option. to basically have more ramification by cutting each of the branch a little shorter. Well, that's it, basically. Put it back in a bonsai pot, and you grow it, let's say each year you clip it once like this. After 5 to 10 years, to be something like this. It's really that easy to make bonsai. All this wiring and all that, I think it's nice. You speed up the process, but I think it seemed like a lot of work. But with that in mind, then I'll put it back and work on the other ones to show you the progressive work you have to do. And for that matter, these not serious, but if it works, fine. If it doesn't work, I just stick it in the ground. It may work. But that's how easy elm tree can root. So these two trees, I've been working on for a long time. This one longer than this one. So I'm just saying, if you take a tree like I just did, and it grew, you play with it, you create more interesting features, and then you have to clip it now and then to shape it up. And what as I said early on, that I would prune it like an imaginative poodle in shape, so that it will grow into the shape that I left it at. That means if a branch is going this way, I imagine the path to be this way. Then even though just a few will grow into that, I will cut it so that it will eventually grow into that shape. Every branch will. And all of these will have the root pruning screen in the bottom. So I don't ever have to change, well, not ever, but I can change the repotting to refresh the soil every 10 to 20 years even, for at least 5 to 10 years. So, and then in the meantime, when you do, you clip it to clean it up a bit, but you also modify the shape to fine tune it. So for example, this tree, I think this branch will look much nicer if it's a little bit lower, as it lower with age. So then I will take a wire and tie it down. Again, I prefer not to wire it because it takes too much time. And then I have to worry about it girding the tree. But like this would do just fine. And it's more natural because that's how tree troops in nature. Any big branch on the move? I don't think so. I think this branch can be a little bit lower too, or maybe that's maybe that branch is a little too long. So maybe I cut off a little bit here, but I think I'll leave it alone. A tree can go a little bit nonlinear. So I don't have much branch on top to fine tune. You can see this branch, I want to make into the apex. So in some sense, the tree grows like this, and then it pops up. And this is very thin. So when you do the clip and grow, what you do is you pay attention where the branch is. It doesn't matter where it's thick or thin, because it will thicken. And then direction also doesn't matter as much. Like this tree, right now this branch is coming out this way. But if you clip it here someday, I can get a branch to go that way. So that doesn't matter too much. But I definitely would like to leave this one alone to thicken it so that this becomes the apex. Then all the tree goes from below. I would say, actually looking at this tree, I think this branch should be much lower because it's heavier. It should droop a lot more. But then if I do that, then this branch becomes almost too long. So one possibility is someday I may just let this branch go back up again, and then make this one go down. Not sure. Maybe I just cut this branch off a little bit here and let this one go down. I think that would look nice. Okay, that's what I'll do. So you vacillate a little bit to optimize. But once you optimize, then you just do it. And then if you don't like it, in the sense of you see a better possibility, and then you just change it again the next time when you improve on it, when you fine tune it. So this one I think is fine, and I think I will need to, in fact, I will cut off this one right here. Now the tree doesn't look too bad. Now this one can come down a bit. Yeah. I'm going to show you something that old guys would cringe, is to use an eye bolt, eye screw, eye bolt. And what I'll do is I'll just, if you can find a spot like a dead wood, that's great. If not, you can just put it in the trunk, the light part of the trunk, and it's just fine. You know, it will heal over you when you see it. You can do it at light part of the trunk if you like, but that wood is obviously a better place. And you can remove it, and the hole will heal. You will never see it. In time, this branch will be lower. I can pull it, keep pulling it every few weeks. In time, this one will be lower than this one to give it more of a view. So even I can now tighten it a little bit more by pulling on this. Oh, sorry. You see, I'm having a hard time drilling a hole. I almost need to get an electric drill to drill the hole because elm wood is pretty hard. This is a scratching owl, but I don't seem to be making much headway making a hole. But maybe that will get us started. If not, I'll go get an electric saw. It's actually a very pretty wood, have beautiful grains, and it's often used to make furniture like desktop in Asia with beautiful grain, actually. And this hole will heal very nicely. When you're done, you take out the eyeball, and it will be just fine. Come on. So now the next thing I have to do is clean off the branches, the redundant branches a little bit to make it look nice. So let me do that. Something that goes down and something overlapping is what you're trying to do. And you cut off a little bit of the tip so that it will increase the ramification, increase the branching to make the branch look a little thicker quicker. But right now, this is winter time, so the growth will be a little slow. But as soon as it warms up, it will just really blossom fast. Get rid of the branches that runs into each other, and then thin it out a bit, and so that when it comes out, it will be full at the right places. you can actually see a lot of branch near at the corners. You just pull them off to focus the energy into the branches where you want it to go. I'm pulling off the bottom ones because paths generally with all the branches pointing upwards. So just tidy up a little bit. So that's all I will do today. And March, April, I will show you what a difference it will make as soon as spring is here. Elm grows really fast. You cut off as much as the cross branch as possible, and the ones that points down. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. This is my favorite tree. I've been working on it for probably 20 years, and ramification increases very slowly, but I think it's nice with the whitish bark. And this one is the wood is quite hard compared to birch trees, and can live for a very long time. Birch trees tend to be a little short-lived because they're susceptible to disease. Well, this is part of the maintenance. As I said, you had to clean off the leaves on top, or you prefer to leave them there to give a little bit of character. That's fine, because in nature the ground is not always clean. But these are blotches of moss, and occasionally I see an Irish moss. I have to get rid of it because they grow fairly rampant if I don't get rid of it. And these are live soil, so you can expect weeds to pop out from time to time. That's part of your chore to clean it up. And what I'll do is I'll cut off a little bit of elongated branches to force more branching to make the leaves grow closer, but I'll really remove very little. I don't think it'll take me 5 minutes to do an update on to keep up an old bonsai like this, but you have to do it, otherwise it gets out of hand. So just clip off branches that's getting a little too long or be crossing over to another one to thin it out a little bit to give it more character. I prefer that. Some people prefer really thick to show the growth, but to me that's more craft and art. In a sense, craft in a sense to know how to grow trees, but not necessarily artistically. So if it doesn't look quite right this time, I will soon be able to prune it again, either in 6 months or next year, to gradually improve it over time. And so that's what you do to take care of an oak tree. So you just clip off the extra long ones to increase the branching. And who is to say what has to be exactly right? Nature will take care of itself. So don't worry about it. Just keep clipping to your liking, but don't worry about that you make a mistake. Nature will take care of itself. I'm pretty much done. This branch is going back a little too much, so I cut it off here. Hopefully this will go this way. So gradually fine-tune it over time. This is pointing down. So if I cut it off there, it will branch to the side, so on and so forth. Just what you think nature ought to be doing, and you just do it, help nature a little bit. So here's a tree. Not much change, but that's what you do each time, make a slight incremental improvement, and over time it will show the result. And you can see the patches of moss are very nice. And I tell you what I'll do. I will show you my moss technique at the same time. by filling in this area a little bit. You see this a little bit, not much moss, not much moss here, and I'll fill it in a little bit. So what I did yesterday, I stopped by the roadside and picked up this piece of moss. In fact, I picked a whole bag of it, and then I would dry it in the shade, or sun for that matter, but dry out in the shade, and I put it in a bullet blender to blend it into pulverize it. And you can see it's really powdered, a little bit of sheen of green, that's the moss. The rest is the bottom of the moss and also the soil. And then you can put it over your bonsai bottom. Just a little bit will do. So a little bit of moss goes a long way. And I think that will make the tree really look finished. So again, you can see this is not moss yet, but you can see a kind of a layer of shin, and then it grows into this, become moss. And then when it grows further, it becomes like a big lump of moss. And you can take this out and pulverize it again and spread it out elsewhere. In conclusion, I thank you very much for watching today. What I did is I took a cutting that's been grown for about a couple years of a Catlin elm and turned it into a shape of a bonsai. And I'm not putting it back in the bonsai pot, putting into a bonsai pot, because I'd rather it grow faster in this growing pot. And when it gets to maybe about this trunk size, I'll put it in a bonsai pot. And the point I'm trying to make is that it gradually improves the looks because you have a chance to modify to your imagination and then eventually look well. So be patient. You're not going to create bonsai overnight, but it really rewards you with a beautiful tree in time. So that's the concept of heirloom. So please keep at it. Start with raw material and work on it. You know, nowadays everybody lives to, a lot of people can live up to 100. So if you're 60 years old, you say, well, you know, I don't have much time. Well, you do, because 40 years later, you may be sorry that you didn't start a bonsai 40 years ago, right? So I hope you like my video and click like. I need the encouragement. Sign up for our email on the website. Click like and subscribe so that I can keep you notified of our future postings. I enjoy doing this, so let's keep going. Thank you very much and see you next week.